Clem versus Elazer here in the WardiTV Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament number 8. The winner is in second place of the group. The loser is in third. So they both will advance. It's just a seeding difference. Of course, at the time they didn't know this. They were playing for all the marbles still in their minds. As in the bottom left, our red Terran from Team Liquid is Clem. In the top right, our orange Zerg is Elazer from XCOM Argo. This is a best of 3. And if you're watching this on YouTube, because I think this might be a good one, then do hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy the video. I really do appreciate if you guys can do that. Helps us out a whole bunch. And obviously, I hope you do enjoy. Let me know down below what you think of the new maps as well, as these are new maps that are not on the ladder. This is the Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament. So the Team Liquid Map Contest is how new maps get brought to the attention of ESL, and then they pass them on to Blizzard, etc. So basically, the process is you have the TLMC, the Team Liquid Map Contest. This is the 16th edition of that. A whole bunch of map makers make maps and submit 100 plus submissions. I think maybe even closer to 150, maybe even more than that. I'm not sure how many it was this time around. But you submit all these maps. We have them judged by a combination of pro players, casters, community members, and then you have 16 finalists. We play this tournament out on the 16 finalists. And then during this, you can actually vote as well. If you !maps in the Twitch chat, you'll be able to vote. Otherwise, I'll probably put it in the YouTube description, if not tl.net, and just look for TLMC 16 finalists. You can vote for your favorite maps, and then the votes on that determine who wins the TLMC. And from there, ESL look at the maps, and they're like, it used to be Blizzard look at the maps, but nowadays ESL look at the maps, they pick out which maps they think would make up a good map pool. They pass that on to Blizzard, and then Blizzard put it into the game. They do their own QA on it and everything. And that obviously is the final touches. So that's the process of these maps going from the tournament or the contest to the ladder. So these are not guaranteed. Each map you see here is not guaranteed to go to ladder, but they are strong candidates for the ladder. When will we be able to play on those maps? You can play on them right now if you want to create custom games. If you search TLMC 16, all one word, in custom game creation, you will be able to find any of these maps. So you can find all of those. So yes, you can play them already, but like I say, if you're talking about them being on ladder, it's probably about 3 months from now, because it takes at least 2 months for Blizzard to QA them and set it up on their side. And that's always been the case. That's not just, StarCraft gets left behind now. It's always taken that amount of time, because even when we had like a full StarCraft team working on it, it has to go through different parts of Blizzard. I believe it has to go through like a PR section, make sure none of the map names are offensive, or break any copyright rules or something like silly like that, right? There has been times where we've had to change map names in the past before they go to ladder. And obviously they do their own tests, make sure the technical department works, and there's not any maps which just are unplayable for all systems. Basically, like, there's a bunch of things to check, so it takes a little while. But typically I would say you'd expect these maps on ladder maybe May. I would say probably in May, simply for the fact in May we have DreamHack Valencia qualifiers starting, and I would imagine that ESL will push Blizzard to get them out in time for the new season of the ESL Pro Tour, so that we start the year on brand new maps. That was a lot of information spewed out all at once, guys, so I'm sorry, but now you know everything there is possible to know about maps. At least in terms of the TLMC and how it works and all of that stuff, so there you go. Offensive map names. It's not really offensive per se, but we had a map once that was called. What was the map? It was called Wind Waker, maybe, and it was an Avex map. It was called Wind Waker, and he renamed it to something. I can't remember which map it was, but it was originally called Wind Waker, and it got renamed. And because it had to be renamed because obviously Wind Waker is like Zelda, I think, right? So because it's a Zelda thing, it got renamed, and you had to name it something different, I believe. So that's the one that comes to mind. Odyssey? Yes. Thank you so much. Odyssey. Yeah, that was a while ago, but just an example of it does actually happen. So yeah, Odyssey. There we go. That was from, okay, to put it into perspective of how long ago that was TLMC 8. In 2017 to 2018, it was on the ladder. So we're talking 5 years ago. It's been a little while. I believe he made that map with Snoot, actually, and him and Snoot worked on that together. And then they had to change the name once it did very well in the TLMC and made it to the ladder. Was there not also Blackpink? Yeah, but Blackpink is... I think Blackpink's okay because I think Blackpink is... I mean, it's the name of a K-pop group, yes, but it's also just a couple of colors, and the map was black and pink. So I don't think that one, like... hinges on... I mean, obviously, like, picking something from another gaming franchise is probably more of a cross on the line when it comes to Blizzard, right? So... Wait, Blackpink was renamed? No. Really? I thought Blackpink was just... Blackpink was just a map? No, no, no. We had Blackpink on the ladder. There's no way it wasn't called Blackpink. It was renamed to Neo Soul? No, I don't believe it. Neo Soul? Did they really rename it to Neo Soul Elite? Was that like that on the ladder, though? Neo Soul renames to Blackpink. As the Lings come through and a few of these Hellions get picked off. It was renamed after it's out of the pool, really. So they renamed it once it was out of the ladder. That's incredible. Sorry, okay, game's ongoing. 6, 7 workers going down, 8, 9 workers going down at the moment. And that's going to be one of the Banshees dead. So good start from Clem, putting some good pressure on here early. And getting some good damage done on Waterfall. No, okay, so I think that... I would believe they renamed it Neo Soul after it is off ladder, but that seems so crazy. It was definitely called Blackpink on the ladder, though, and in tournaments. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Nah, that's crazy. Like, Neo Soul LE actually does relink to that relink to Blackpink on Liquipedia. Okay, here you go. The map was renamed to Neo Soul following Blizzard's worry to receive a trademark infringement notice from Blackpink's record label after it had been taken off the ladder. Oh my god, so there you go. Blackpink got renamed. I didn't know that had been renamed. I didn't realize that had been renamed. But there you go. There's another great example of exactly what I'm talking about and how it takes a little while to get these maps processed from the tournament to the ladder. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk a bit more about this TvZ, which is ongoing. As we see our Marines stepping forward, and a few of these Lings going to be taking a bit of damage. And in fact, going to be forced to lift up pretty much right away, though, so they pull back out into the center. And just going to be seeing our armory coming up on the natural. So... Getting this going, getting this set, as we do have the Banshee taking some hits on the top side, is just going to be falling back. And these couple of medevacs still overhead, keeping an eye on all of these Zerglings. I mean, they're kind of looking for a place to drop, as the laser just expands everywhere here on Waterfall. So this is a shorter map, but I tell you what is interesting about this map, apart from its beautiful aesthetics, it's very narrow and choky. Like, this map feels like the kind of map that you could split. Because you're very quick to take control of your half because of its size. So you're very quick to come forward. You can see Elazer basically owns his half of the map already. And if you can own your half of the map, it's going to be tough for your opponent to break into your half of the map. And I can see a lot of stalemates just on this bridge, on this kind of pathway. Same on the bottom side, depending where the expansions come first. I mean, if Clem expands down here for a fourth, then I mean, we might not have those clashes for a little while, but I definitely imagine that is something that's going to come through over time. It definitely feels like something to expect. As you do see a few Marines unload on the right side again. Marines are pressing forward. Holding Bane back up to the top. I'm just going to see a couple more Banes coming in, forcing these Marines to lift back up into medevacs. Unloading to the high ground, and we do have the Hive and the Lurker Den continuing to build. The Bane's still coming through, Pathogen Glands as well, so it actually just goes straight into from Ling Bane basically to Lurkers. Yes, we have got a Hydra Den, but you need that to build the Lurker Den. So it doesn't look like we're actually going to stop off on the Hydras at all. It's pretty much going to be just build Hydras, morph them to Lurkers, and that is that. We don't have any of the Hydra upgrades even being made at the moment, so that's something else to keep in mind. And as you do see these few Lings and Banes continue rolling forward. Brings hop back up to the high ground, and just going to be seeing our medevacs in the top left. Going to get pushed away. A couple more tanks still coming through. The additional Marines are all coming out. Clem back down the left-hand side. He's going to be unloading over there. Well, I'm intrigued by this fast Pathogen Glands. I mean, you can sneak a couple Infestors in, and that can be very dangerous for Clem. If you don't know about them right away, that can be very dangerous and a little bit scary to deal with for sure. As the Marines do load into the medevac, and they're going to go moving down to the bottom side. A few more Lings going to get picked off in the corner. Was Clem shooting his own tank there at the end still? I actually didn't know. It looked like he was maybe still shooting his own tank when he was probably done killing these Lings already. So that was an interesting moment as well. And you see the rest of the Ling Bane still pressing down to the bottom side. And, well, Seismic Spine's coming up. Ghost Academy coming through. The missile turrets are all producing at the moment. All of this still coming online. You miss maps with water slides? There was one map ever with a water slide. I got played a few times. There's a bit of a meme and stuff. It's not like we had maps with water slides all the time. Honestly, for how much people talk about the map with the water slide, you would think it was actually on the ladder. I swear people know the water slide map better than they know the ladder maps at some points. Oh no, there's only one Baneling there. Oh, Burrowed Baneling's not as effective when there's only one. That was a mistake, because that could have been a huge connection for Elazer, so he misses out on that. He misses out on that pretty much straight away. They are going to be seeing the two Marines on the top left. Going to fight a little bit of that lane Bane, and just going to be seeing our Viper on the way up as well. So bring that Viper through. Well, the Banes connect in. Clem's been a little reckless with some of these drops. Don't want to necessarily say reckless, but it's definitely been, he's not been picking them up so quickly. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't think about this map actually rotating around to being like top versus bottom. So Elazer's going to take like the right and the top side. Clem will take the left and the bottom side of the map. That's an interesting way for this to play. I would imagine Clem's going to aim for this base here and then try and get the forward base, and then he can deny this base, while Elazer will have to continue to work around the left. The map is small. Like, there's not a lot of space to rotate around and to work on, so it's interesting already to see this this game already setting up into what potentially could be a long game, right? I mean, lurkers are popping out now. Clem's getting to Ghost. This does seem like it's going to be tough for either player to attack into the other immediately. This does feel like it's going to take a few different separate fights to kind of wear the other down. Lurkers burrowing up again. Some Marines getting chased away as Lurkers continue across the map. Tank is going to get taken down. Tank sieging up. Snipe's going to come through. A couple of Lurkers getting sniped down immediately. Another tank shot coming in as well. And just going to be seeing these Lurkers still firing up a storm at the moment. So bunch of damage continues to be done, and just having our tanks sieging up once again. Just going to be keeping these few Lurkers at bay as a few snipes come down. Well, not exactly great or terrible on either side, as the Lurkers are going to reassess where they want to be. Another scan, and Clem should have a couple of kills here. They just got too adventurous. Yeah, I feel like this group of Lurkers on this side were kind of getting very adventurous too. Didn't know where he was really trying to end up with them. Alright, well, Lurkers are going to go pushing in. They're going to find these 3 siege tanks at least, though, and that's a great set of blind clouds to allow these Lurkers to finally get into a much better position. Link's trying to run through with that as well. Clem moments away from 3-3. That could help him out here against what is currently just the 2-2 of his opponent. Let's see another couple snipes trying to line on up, and Lings trying to make their way into these bases, trying to open up some space. Things continue through. The tank shots continue. The Ghost is still standing there, standing strong for the moment. I'm just going to be seeing our couple of Lurkers continuing to actually cause some trouble. We're waiting for a scan to clean those out. All these extra Ghosts just coming through. A couple more snipes will come down. The Lurkers fall. Just going to see Clem will take a step forward to clean out a few of the changelings that were left behind. So Clem cleans up. I mean, Elazer's got a ton of money. 98 drones, bases that have been uncontested all game long. And that's just going to be seeing the Banshee. Still alive as well from the early game. Has 18 kills on it. So that Banshee has been a heroic effort basically throughout the entirety of the game so far. As that's going to be seen. Now Lurkers continuing up this ramp. Finding Cloud goes down on some of these siege tanks. And in we go. Burrowing up in on top of these tanks. And the Bio Army will have to turn and fight. I mean, you lose your initial kind of frontline defense. But, well, it's tough for the Lurkers to unburrow and push into the planetary. So yeah, these Ghosts will just sit from afar and snipe away. And, I mean, a few SCVs can repair this planetary. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Clem's Ghosts are kind of low on energy. He's got 11. This is only going to be... it's going to be 9 of them, I guess. That's the majority, in fact. Thought it looked like it was maybe 6 or 7, not 9. There's a couple off to the right-hand side. Linus is going to stream through onto the orbital on the far left, and they are going to get rid of tanks and all sorts. And I mean, this is where Clem is going to be benefiting from the fact he's still rather defensive anyway, because it's not going to take him too long to get back here, but still, losing 2 tanks, he loses 10 SCVs, he's going to lose 1 more tank. Those Lings with +3 melee and adrenal glands are deadly. And now he loses this base bottom right as well as he's being pushed away from it, so not able to defend that position any longer. These few Ghosts are going to come in, a couple snipes going down. Lurkers just continue to be popped, and this is going to be Clem trying to make something of a stand because he wants to get back onto this base. Being pushed back to 4 bases while Elazer goes wild around the map is not going to be pretty for Clem at all. Still firing up a Storm plus 2 missiles is going to be finishing here very soon as well. So getting that completed. As the Lings and the Hydras and the Lurkers will continue down the bottom side. He's going to be catching those ghosts right there, so they take some damage. Going to line up another round of snipes. Lurkers still being picked away, and just going to be having more snipes continuing to come down. So a lot of snipes going off. Hydra after Hydra going down. Now a Viper gets shot down as well. Lurker gets picked off, and we are just going to push on through. That's going to be seeing the Lurker drops. The Hydra goes down. I mean, that is a nice cleanup from Clem, and necessary cleanup as well. He really needed to get something done in this moment because he was running out of time to make plays. And he needed to reestablish a base as well. He needs that extra little bit of economy. And right now, he actually does have a sizable army supply lead, and that's what he's using to push in these positions. There's no Lurkers on the map anymore either. There's going to be mostly just Lings and Banes running through. Well, enough Ling Bane can be good against Ghosts because they're obviously teched up units versus low-tech swarmy units. So got to be careful there for a few moments. We're just going to be seeing the Ghost still pressing forward. The Spore going to go down. This base going to go down. Elazer shouldn't mind too much. He's got the top left of the map to work with, and that's where Clem will probably start to focus next, unless he tries to move even further forward over here up into this base. But that might just be stretching himself too far away from where he really wants to be. Tanks on the high ground will shoot down some of the Ling Bane. This hatchery is now falling. Snipes is going off whenever they see a unit at this stage as well. Those SCVs dying back on the left side. This base being an orbital has been brutal. Clem has ended up losing so many SCVs on that location. Well, 17 minutes deep. Elazer is up. Good amount of workers, about 30 workers at the moment. He is just going to be seeing our couple of Lurkers being forced back down the ramp, so they get pushed away there. And just going to be seeing Ling Bane Lurker continuing to set up. Some of us still joined up over on this right side. We are going to scan forward. A bit of creep spread goes down already. What do ghost counters? I mean, you use ghosts to snipe down mostly Lurkers or Ultras, and you can EMP Infestors and Vipers. But of course, if you have ghosts up already, then you want to snipe down, if you can see a free snipe, you take a free snipe. Sniping down a Hydra or so can be, still an efficient trade. Elazer just has so much of a bang. Clem is not able to sustain a 5th base right here. He's not been able to work through that at all just yet, as we're just going to be having the army down the bottom side, still moving through. The Planetary Fortress is going to get into play. Trying to fight here. These few Banelings going to get picked away. That's going to be the Planetary going down. SCVs being bopped in. And do you think we've got ourselves too much here from Elazer? He's just going to continue through. I mean, losing another base is really unplayable at this stage for Clem. I do not think you can do anything from here. And I really do mean anything. I don't think there's a single thing you can get done at the moment. As extra Lurkers and Hydra still coming through. The Ghosts are still in reduction and just going to be seeing our Orbital Command makes its way around to the left. The Ghosts are setting up, and they're going to move down the ramp as the Lurker will be taken down, so the Lurker will fall. Hydras and Lurkers pressing forward here. A couple of tanks taking damage, and just going to be seeing this army of Elazer just continuing to trade at this stage. These few Ghosts need to back away. They've got nothing but for them to get further back. Much more Ghosts just getting abducted in. SCVs are still running around as well. Our Orbital going to lift up. The Hydra's going to try and work through that Orbital Command. As our Bioforce spreading out, Lurker goes down. The Lings are still streaming up the ramp here. Clem does not have the numbers to stay alive, and that is going to be GG's. And Elazer is going to take map number 1 of this best of 3. Elazer going to go up 1 against Clem in an important match. SC2 in a way. It's not always about just the size of the map. Down 1 in the top right-hand corner, the Red Terran player from Team Liquid is Clem. He's up against the orange Zerg in the bottom left from XCOM Argo. It's Elazer, and Clem is going to do something which I can't remember the last time I saw Clem do this. I think the last time he did this was in an ESL Open Cup final against Raynor, where he played some long games, lost out, and kind of just proxy racks and kind of left the moment it was scouted, more or less. So that was a little while back. As we get set up here. Out of all the players to try and proxy rack in a map contest tournament, I thought Clem was going to be the one guy who was safe from doing this, but yeah, Emerald Princess, just going to take you guys around the map quickly. We do have acceleration zones around on this map. This map obviously going to play very different to the last, you see. I mean, this base is down here seem nice for the turn. You hold this base, you hold this base. That seems like a nice 1, 2, 3, 4 base combo. And then you push forward through the middle of the map from there as well. That seems like a great idea. I would like to see that, so... But maybe we won't get there at all. Again, acceleration zones on the top side. We saw this map not long ago for Laser DNS as well. And honestly, just another of these maps that's just been kind of nice throughout. You know, it's been one of these maps that hasn't really, you know, stuck out a lot. And a lot of the time, that might seem like a bad thing. It's like, oh, it's just kind of blended in. That's okay, because a lot of the time when a map just blends in, it means it's just straight up good, right? It's not anything crazy. It's not kind of bringing attention in a bad way. You know, if games just happen and they're kind of just good, solid games, they're decent, the map flies under the radar, I actually think that can be kind of a good thing in terms of it being a good map. Obviously, maybe for the map contest, it's not great, because then your map doesn't get noticed as much, and then you're not having as good of a time, but those are other things to discuss. As Clem is going to Reaper, so with the Reaper build, he's going to hop up into the base, and going to start putting this pressure on into the main. Reapers continue through, and just going to be seeing our Zerglings already taking a good amount of damage. I mean, Proxy Rack's Reaper is really unique. I mean, yeah, I guess if it's... I mean, I guess I like it more than if he plays Proxy Rack's Marines. There's a lot of Reaper hop-up spots in this map, to be fair, right? So there's a hop-up spot here, there's one here, and you've got 2 exits on the natural, the ramp, and this little corner over there. So it is the map with maybe the most Reaper action. And I actually talked about this because Björn Reapered somebody the other day, and I was kind of thinking, I was like, well, actually, there is this map, which has a lot of Reaper hop-in spots. I was surprised he then didn't do it on this map. As these Reapers are going to chase down a few of those Lings. We are a long way off Ling speed, so Clem is going to be able to chase down for a lot of those Zerglings at the moment, and the drone goes down too. A little grenade to keep the Queens back, and just going to trade out a little bit more HP on these Reapers, trying to go after those Queens. Salvages the bunker on the high ground. It's just going to be having the Reaper popping out, heading over the left-hand side. It's going to look to maybe jump into the action with all of the others. Well, at the moment the Reapers are going to hold back. One of the big things you're going to do here is delay the third hatchery. As you take your own CC back at home, it's not like you're going to be in a crazy good eco position, but delaying the third hatch is something that can continue for quite some time here potentially, so that is one thing to watch out for. And try and get the Queen on the ramp. Just going to be seeing our Lings. Oh, looking for a wraparound. This is really bad. Losing the Reapers is very bad. Beautiful blocking. Every Reaper goes down. Clem couldn't find the ledge. Oh, no. I actually think he was doing fine. But it was okay. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it was just fine, right? Delaying the third hatchery, like I say, goes a long way. But, oh, but every single Reaper dying, now he has no map control. I mean, now he's just in a horrible spot in comparison. Those Reapers should stay on the map. It should keep the Zerg back. They have the potential to dive in for a few more drones at some stage if Elazer doesn't defend properly. Losing the Reapers is usually a game-ending kind of situation in any kind of heavy Reaper play, especially Proxy Rack's Reaper. I mean, at least it happened a little bit later now, the Fusion Core coming up. But just look at the army supply. Clem has 4 Hellions and nothing else because, well, everything's been invested into those Reapers early game, so... Oh. Losing out on those is really, really a bit brutal. It's just going to be seen our Hellions will move forward onto the map. The Queen's pulling back up into the natural, and just going to be seeing Plexer Queens, a couple of Extractors still building up. couple extractors finishing on the natural right now. Third hatchery getting going. Let's see how Overlord is going to be taking some damage here from the Marines. Putting some damage out. A few more Hellions continue into the center of the map. So into the middle we go, and just going to be seeing, I mean, Elazer now just taking a third hatchery, 53 to 38 workers. Resources lost is in his favor comfortably. He only lost 9 lings and 2 drones initially as well, so that really isn't that bad. And this one Overlord's actually seen where the Hellions were moving to just then as well, so a little bit more information going there as our Hellions of Clem continue down the bottom left. BC comes in. Elazer knows about it. He had the scouting, so the Queens and the Squawker all together will push this BC back immediately, and Clem's follow-up is not going to have much success either, and it really feels like a tough game now from Clem. He's down a lot of work, as the BC might get a couple of Overlord kills, but not much more than that. This is not looking good for him, as maybe he needs some of this life force coming out of this emerald in the middle of the map. Quick, Clem, send an SCV, mine it! That'd be fun, wouldn't it, if you could mine things that are out on the map for like buffs and stuff. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't like that, but it might be fun. Might be something a bit different. Mix it up a little. I think he's going to go back to the center. A couple of evolution chambers still coming through, and the Lings of the Elazer pull back to the left-hand side. Did you see 4 engineering base? I don't think you did. Maybe 2 were building, but these ones are the only ones up on the map right now. Aliens back around the top are going to go after some Queens here. I'm just going to be seeing our Spire finishing up from Elazer in a few moments. That will give him the potential to play mutas on this larger map. Going to play some Link Bay muta. That has the potential to do a lot, right? It's definitely, especially off the start that we've had. Off the start we've had, it makes sense, and it means that these mutas can go into go up against this BC a little bit at times and help to push that back, and help to just chase it down as well. So that's also a nice little bonus. Not that mutas are the greatest at kind of straight up fighting a BC, but better than having nothing at all to push that BC back apart from the Queens. Has Elazer let Clem back in this game? One thing I think is not great for Elazer is that he could have been on 80 drones already, Like, I feel like this 4th base, when it finished, could have already had even more drones on it. And that's one thing. I mean, maybe he's afraid of taking that 4th, but when the BC was down here, I feel like he could have got that set up and droned up already. And I feel like because it's a BC investment, you're not in any trouble for a while, and so you could have been on all those workers and then still been ready to deal with this attack, because this is not prettily timed. I mean, the muta's flank in, and so the Marines target a few of those down, and Clem just goes running, picking away at some of the Banes. I think that if Elazer has made a fault here, that might be the one fault that he's really made, as Marines and the BC continue through the top. Going to move over to the left-hand side of this here. Gets rid of a creep tumor, and just going to be seeing our drilling claws and 2-2 upgrades continuing in. I'm just going to be pulling back down the right side, clearing out. He is going to take, I guess... Why do we go from here? Does he take this forward base? He could go down to the low ground on the forward base. This base reminds me of... What map was it? I want to say Zen. I'm not saying the map looks like Zen. I'm just thinking that base reminds me a bit of Zen, I think. Is it Zen that I'm thinking of? Yeah, it's not quite the same, but basically on Zen you had your main into a natural, and then like down a very small ramp there was like a base out over here. It kind of reminds me of this. What I was thinking of is this base here kind of leads out to this base here. That's kind of like Zen. And then there's a base on the top side of it as well. Kind of. I mean, very different map to Zen. Just in that very moment, I was like, man, I really seem to remember like going down here to the next base along. But yeah, usually that was a natural to a third sometimes, a very forward aggressive third more than anything else. You see a planetary fortress built on the right-hand side as BC comes in. A couple of creep tumors continue to get cleaned out, and these Marines are going to stim in as well. Creep continues to get pushed away. These Queens being pushed back as well at the moment. That's going to be seeing the Slings and Banes continuing through. Mutas setting up as well. Maybe looking to dive in on this in the near future. Definitely not. I mean, look at the creep spread, by the way, as well. That's one thing that Clem's not had. Because his Marines were so low to get on so slow to get onto the map, he's had no control of the creep. So Elazer's creep is just all over the place already. Thing Bane Muta kind of fllying on forward and just going to go jumping in on top of this. A couple of Widow Mines going to go off, and the Thor goes down. The Marines are currently in the medevacs, and Elazer is going to get on top of this base where he's going to blow up already a good chunk of SCVs. Just realized we didn't have SCV kill counter on here, so unfortunately must have been a bit of a bug when the game got hosted, so no WCS game hard. Apologies, guys. That's a little bit unfortunate. I'll try and do my best to watch for how many SCVs go down myself whenever possible. Hitters are back in. They're going to grab the Siege Shank on the high ground and just going to pick off a medevac that spawns in the main. So doing pretty well here in terms of just harassing. That medevac didn't die, so maybe could have targeted that a little bit better. And hey, what's up? Fluffy Ops, thank you so much for continuing your gifted sub from Just Disappointed. And Ferasti for the 11-month resub. Thank you so much for that. As this game continues through, though, and the action continues through, with the BC continuing across, the Mutas trying to dive in onto this BC, and Battlecruiser, I think, has maybe seen its last day here. No teleport out. It will go down. So the Battlecruiser falls, provided a good amount of harassment, but, well, I mean, it could have been a whole lot more. As the Marines and the Marauders and the Thor all continue to press on forward. A few Banelings are going to continue to roll on in. And now you got this Bioforce being chased down once again. Clem being pushed back by Lingbane Muta. Being kept low on supply is Mutas taking some damage from that Thor, though. The Banes turn for a second, which means they don't keep chasing these Marines, and Clem will get back to a Widow Mine, which gets set up on just a few Lings. Banes into the mineral line again, though. It's a lot more SCVs going down. We're now at 19 dead in total. It's about 10 more workers that died here after the previous fight. 102 to 64 workers means that the Elazer has a ton of income, but will not have a strong standing army. Clem is taking a 5th base. One thing Elazer is not doing is denying bases. He's denying economy, he's killing SCVs, but he's not stopping these bases from coming online. And that is a big difference that we're seeing here from what has happened versus maybe what Elazer would like to have happen. Clem can always rebuild those SCVs. Replacing bases is a lot tougher to do. That is a lot tougher to do, so yeah, not getting that done is a bit of a shame as these Lings run in. Bioforce continue to pull back. Bane's continuing through. Widow Mine shoots and gets a bit more damage as well. The Bio Army continue to kite backwards here. Baneland's aiming for the Marines, and the Widow Mine's going off. A bit more of the Ling Bane getting caught, and just going to be turning around. A few more Banelands continue to get shot at. Nice Widow Mines! Definitely helping Clem out big time as he falls very low on supply. Elazer will start a hive, but do you think, in a game like this, you got all the bases. The one thing you can do is stick on Lingbane Muta for too long. You give Clem too many chances to trade effectively when you stay on Lingbane Muta. So get the hell off of Lingbane Muta, tech up, and really do something different for yourself. I think is only going to benefit you massively. I think you're crazy to try and do anything else apart from that at the moment. Force around the top side, a few Widow Mines with this, and the Mutas do go diving in for a few of these Marines over here, so Marines will drop, and now some Widow Mines going off as well. Ling's still taking some damage. Oh no, the Mutas are going to fly into Widow Mines! Missile turret should be able to fight them off now, and they will start to get pushed back, so Clem is absolutely having some better moments at the moment. He's having a bit of a better time. He's staying alive at the very least in the game because there's no Hive Tech. He's got 3-3 upgrades, which will help him a little bit. Not splitting up his units in that fight, though, obviously doesn't go too well, and that's going to cost you quite heavily. Clem pulls back, that 5th base coming up. I mean, how many bases from Elazer? 8? Bases 7 and 8 coming online now, taking top and bottom side of the map. Clem's going to Widow Mine drop in, try and do some damage himself. I mean, he's up to 81 SCVs, and now Elazer brought down to 94 drones, 7 die in this little attack. It's going to be seen our Mutas still chasing across. I moves to that top side. Just going to be seeing a few of these Bioforces already pressing forward and just going to be having Banelings set up here as well. Clem tries to press into top side of the map. What's the resources lost like? It's very favorable for Clem. If he can, so it's slow going, but in theory, if Clem can keep expanding slowly but surely, keep taking bases, because again, Elazer's not been denying bases, he's been killing SCVs, but the bases have lived. If he can keep on denying Elazer, if he can keep his bases coming up and he doesn't let Elazer get these bases, and Elazer gets stuck on 6 base playing against someone who gets up to 5, and then eventually 6 base while trading more efficiently, that's where Clem wins this game. So that's where Elazer needs to try and find a fix. That's where Elazer tries to need to do something a little bit better across the board here as we see these Lings and the Banes coming through. Nice play on the Marines though. Target fires the Banelings beautifully. Just a few too many Zerglings. You still have to lift up and back away from that as the Lings and the Mutas coming through. A few of these SCVs taking a whole bunch of damage. Here's back on the left-hand side. 23 Banelings, 7 more Mutalisks. All building up here as that Bio Army comes through. A few Changelings getting picked away at. And just going to take down a few more Creep Tumors. But gets picked up. Mutas coming through. The Medivacs being chased away as the Thor is being kited pretty nicely. Just being able to bring it back as much damage on his mutas as possible. This time we kill a base. It costs you a lot of mutas that flew into those Marines on the bottom side in the end, but he is able to get the base denial, and I do think that's an important step to be taking, denying these bases at points. This is Clem trying to take base number 6 on the top side, with his 5th base down on the bottom. If you don't start denying those bases soon, you really do fall into a lot more trouble. Is running forwards again here. Elazer is going to lose a few more Banes, just keeping up this pressure. Can he truly keep on outmining Clem and eventually get to the point where this wins out? 10,000 resource loss difference in favor of Clem. It's still just Lingbane Muta. You know, we've got the potential to tech up as well, and I feel like Elazer has had the money at times. Maybe right now he doesn't. I would really not mind seeing something just to move off of Lingbane Muta with, right? I do think sitting on Lingbane Muta forever is the one thing that can, again, keep Clem in this game, and Elazer doesn't need to be here. He can tech up. He's had that chance. This man's continuing through. The Thor gets taken down the left side. Medivac load up, and up we go. This space going to get lifted as well. Missile turret's still fine on these mutas. I mean, we've lost so many mutas at this point. How many mutas do you guys think have died? I reckon we've probably at like 20, let's say 23. I like 23 as we see more SCVs going down too. Wait for this to end, and I'm going to check the muta kill counter. As the Widowmine cleans it up, and we settle down. 59! 23 is not even freaking close. I don't even know why I guessed 23. We lost 23 meters in the first 10 minutes, didn't we? Forgetting that the game is 19 minutes long at this point. It's such an extended period to have just Lingbane Muta versus... I think that's why I'm getting caught up, right? Just Lingbane Muta still at this stage is wild. Refusing to move off of that. 59 dead mutas. And that's 12,000 resources right there. They've just gone down. Just going to be seeing our Thor pressing forward. Oh! Widowmine shot connecting too. They're just taking damage, and well, this acceleration zone coming into play a little bit. These Banes are going to roll forward. Marauder splitting back, taking a few shots. Still pushing in on the top, and just going to be seeing a little bit more Lingbane continuing through. A couple Widowmines going off, and the Widowmines continue to connect big time. Those mutas are hurting, and they have to back away. Otherwise, we're going to be on our way to 100 dead Mutalisks in this game. Actually, might be a possibility. Nice Parasitic Bomb. A little bit of spellcasting is nice to see as an addition, even if it is just the Viper. Is that the only Viper we've had? It's just one Viper. I mean, Elazer doesn't have a lot of gas because he's spending it all on freaking Mutalisks, so he's not got a lot of gas to work with. As Medivac goes down, we continue through. The Thor now dies. And just going to be seeing the rest of these Medivacs going down as well. +3 flyer attack upgrade coming in on the Spire. Marine's still pressing through. Clem is really had trouble securing this location, but I mean, he's got it as a planter and he's keeping it alive right now. If he can keep that up, he might be on track to be okay here in the end. Well, he's 102 drones, but not a lot of money in the bank. He's just been consistently rebuilding 52 to 38,000 resource loss. He really is choosing to just say, hey, look, I want to win this game by just being, you know, by just continuing to attack, basically. I think at this stage, he's afraid to let up the pressure to tech. And if he lets up the pressure to tech, he's probably afraid that Clem's going to come into control of the game. He's going to start dropping everywhere. He's going to start moving around. And it's going to become all about Clem. And I think Elazer would like to stay away from that idea if at all possible because, well, you know, having Clem in control of the game is pretty terrifying, to be fair. You know, Clem's pretty good at that sort of thing. Clem is going to get to base 7 on the top side of the map. There's 12 o'clock. And if he can establish that and push forward from there, well, he can push through these acceleration zones and towards his opponent's bases. And then Elazer's bottom side of the map is going to be much more important. Those are the fresher bases right now, and those are the bases which are still actually untouched at the moment from Clem, who's obviously focusing so much on the top of the map. Like going down to hit the bottom side bases is going to be a stretch. He could maybe send a drop there. Probably just doesn't feel like it's worth it at the moment with how much attention he's got to put into surviving. Again, the Thor will dance in the medevac and try and stay out of reach of those mutas as long as possible. Thor's still pushing the Overseers away and just going to be seeing Ling Bane still coming through. Bit of Mind Shot goes off, a few Lings going down. Planetary Fortress begins to morph in. All of these Banes continue to die. The Marines just splitting backward, and that is going to be a lot of SCVs dead on the top side. Clem's economy is hurting, guys. This Planetary Fortress will not be allowed to come up. It will go down. Clem's on 44 SCVs, and it's not like he's ever had a bank to play with here. Up to a 17,000 resource loss difference, though still, of course, favoring Clem. That resource loss, and it's never going to change when there's Ling Bane Muta versus late game bio. As Lings are running through, Banelings are not ready just yet. Now these Banelings finish up. Now they start to press forward. Running in over here. Elazer continue to just try and clean this out. A couple of Thors are going to put some good damage on those Mutas. Having to back it up. Nice save on one of the medevacs, lifting up and pulling away. Banelings are going to pull back. And Clem comes out of this down 60 supply. Off the work account, basically no money. We'll drop some mules to try and get anything in range of being affordable from the top side. Got a chance to freaking breathe. I mean, it feels as though these fights have been absolutely non-stop. There we go again. A couple of Widow Mines blown up before they get to Burrow, and well, one on the top side at least connects. The Thor there is so low. Can Clem find a moment to get that repaired? It'd be amazing if he could, of course. And as the Banelings roll on in, Clem's still unable to get this base online. That's a pretty big deal, not being able to grab that base. You know, the longer this base gets denied for, the more Clem runs out of money eventually. And then Elazer really does get to where he needs to be, which is mining a crap ton of bases more than Clem because he's been trading so badly. So yes, and he is doing that. Like I say, not letting Clem get this base is a big deal. And he's going to take this base away from Clem, which is obviously a base that Clem should have. So yeah, it's getting to the point where Elazer is doing enough. Let's see if he can keep it up, though. As the Widow Mine is going to have a huge connection. How many kills on this guy? 26 kill Widow Mine. Well, that's going to slow the sales of Elazer, and he's going to have to stop for a moment here, perhaps. Or is he? He's going to come back in. But yeah, I think he's going to have to stop and let this base go up. But actually, SCVs are being shot down by Zerglings, so Zerglings are having some fun. Going in and killing off a whole bunch of SCVs. Marines pulling back over the right-hand side. Ling, Bane, Muta all coming through, and just going to be seeing our other units from Clem pressing forward. For the first time in a long time, Clem steps forward. Elazer is not maxed out as he's out of money, and Clem is the one moving into his opponent's side of the map. Widow Mine shot goes off towards the Thor. And Thor once again saved for just a few more moments. Saved again. Another Widow Mine connecting and keeping Clem going with a 15 army supply lead. Can Clem push into any bases, though? At this stage, the top left of the map's mined out, which means his left side's mined out. This central base is almost gone. 500 gas left on it. Clem needs to not be up here. Like, yes, he needs to be here to save his bases, but he needs to be down over here denying these bases because there's nothing for him to deny on the bottom of the map. That's if he wants to deny anything. He's diving on the right-hand side of the game. I don't even want to know how many meters died at this point in the game. 75,000 resources down the drain. Let's have a look. 108. 108 dead mutas, 804 dead zerglings. We've got 823. Looks like we might be on the way to 1,000 dead lings here. Now as the Viper gets shot down, the mutas are in trouble. Can you imagine spending 10k gas on mutas in a game? That's just the ones that have died. My goodness. Like I said, the problem for Clem is he needs to kind of protect this base, but he also wants to take down the bases of Elazer. It's actually kind of nice for Elazer, right? Because usually the way it works is that the Terran will mine from the side of the map he's trying to deny from the Zerg, and then we'll take the other side of the map when the Zerg takes the other side of the map. But because Elazer has no bases to defend up here, Clem is kind of completely wasted on having his army up here. Like, this army is only defending, but he kind of wants to be attacking and defending. Now, obviously, he's traded well enough that maybe he just says, if I defend long enough, eventually I trade out well enough and I win the game. I think that does come in tandem with taking at least this bottom right base away from Elazer. It's going to be very tough to do if the bottom right goes up. Again, you've got to defend up here, so what you're meant to do, maybe just a couple of medevacs down there. Failing burst on this planetary fortress, it goes down as Elazer will rebuild instantly off the back of that with 46 new Zerglings. That's how he has got a little bit of gas in play at the moment. 1,300 to rebuild Banes with. As Clem, 40 army supply lead, is starting to press on forward through the top side. Has Elazer given up a little bit too much all at once? Because now Clem is making progress. Well, the issue with this is, like I said before, even if you press forward over here, what are you going to do? You're going to deny some hatcheries that are basically just lava farms at this moment in time? Like, it's not exactly ideal, to say the least. Well, there's going to be seeing these few Marines going to pick through the hatchery top left. It will go down, and we have got ourselves 13 newlings just popping onto the map. Elazer does have the gas still to play with. The mutas taking some more shots. 115 now dead in this game. Okay, guys, new guessing game. How many mutas end up dead at the end of the game? How many mutas are dead by the time this game ends? I'm going to say 152. That's the guess we're going for now. 169. Two people go 150. Lambo on 136. Yeah, you guys someone write these down. Slowly write these down. I need to make sure we get the right the winner of the guessing game at the end. Yeah, I think Elazer really has just been terrified to tech up at all and just to sort of slow down enough to have a tech. And now he kind of can't, right? Now it's almost, he's still committed to doing it. I mean, this is a discussion we had 10-15 minutes ago, but people just asking why is he still on Ling being muted. Well, that's kind of why. He made the choice to try and end the game on this, and again, the longer he stays on it, the more difficult it ever is to justify a transition, and the more difficult it is to ever have enough momentum away from Clem to transition. Clem on 150 army supply right now to 94, so massive army lead from Clem. But if Elazer can just get a cleanup with Banes, there's not a lot of reproduction from Clem because his economy is kind of struggling. He's going to try and retake the space here that got denied previously. So going to set that up. Now Clem needs to get whatever eco he can. I mean, again, he has now got some units looking to push down this bottom right side. Can take down this base. That would be huge as the mutas fly in to deny the top side. Bottom line goes off. More mutas to the muta kill counter. We've seen a few banelings coming through. The Thor taking damage. Wouldn't mind here going to get some kills. We're probably getting past 1,000 Zerglings dead on the map marker as well as we pass the 30 minutes of the game. 985 dead Zerglings, guys. We're about to get to 1,000. 13 new meters on the way up. Okay. Hey, SC Boy, Toss Boy, thank you so much for the fresh new sub. Welcome as we have our mutas working their way down the bottom right corner here. Marine still producing Widow Mines and Medevacs all on the way out. $988 deadlings. Oh, well, that's going to be 1,000 with this incoming run by or fight or whatever this turns into. There we go. Well, I'm going to have to send back. He's got Widow Mines to fall back to, and in we go. Widow Mines going to start going off. The mutas getting involved. Now we disengage. One big mine shot at the end. 1,040 lings going down. It feels like at this point we're just counting how many dead units there are because it's fascinating. Not every day you pass the 1,000 dead ling marker. Okay, great point in the chat as well. These rocks are still alive. Would it not benefit Elazer to kill these rocks? I think if you kill these rocks, you actually do give yourself a chance to rotate around the map more as Elazer. It gives him more pathways, and surely more pathways for Zerg is good. I'm surprised he's probably so caught up in throwing away mutas and lings. He's like, rocks? They can't fight back. Where's the fun if I'm not losing a record amount of mutas and zerglings while taking fights? Wasted opportunity, huh? Look at resources lost, guys. It's a 28,000 resource loss difference. Elazer genuinely does need to mine out a base more than Clem right now. Like, he actually does need to mine out this base. If Clem denies that bottom right base, Elazer might just be dead. The problem is Elazer knows that he's got to defend that base, and he's been doing so well for a little while now. And that's where his new surge of money has come from as well. If Clem had that surge of money, I don't think this would have been a contest anymore. I think Clem then digs it down. The missile turret gets saved just because, I mean, why not another muta dying? 129 at the moment here on Emerald Princess. 33-minute game, longest game of the tournament. Extra Bane's morphing. Widow Mine shot. Huge Widow Mine shot into the center of the Ling Bane as Marauders lift up into Medevacs and just going to be pulling back. Widow Mines burrowing up, and the Bio Army will sit on top of them, and again just trying to draw anything he can back towards that. Not a lot of minerals left on this base. Plan's at the point obviously where he just has to land down whichever orbital he has as well. He's not really in a position to just rebuild extra planetaries or anything. When Clem had like 150 to 100 army supply, well, doesn't feel like that anymore. 90 to 90 at the moment as Elazer has once again spent his bank. It is gone. How many mutas on the map still? 28. If every muta died, I'd be pretty close to being correct. Die, mutas, die. Die, mutas, die. I just want you to die so I can be right. It's nothing personal, mutas, just, you know, just one of those games. He's actually doing pretty good up here. Denying this base, which has got a few hundred minerals on it for Clem. It's pretty substantial. Elazer has 92 drones still. Why do you guys... Oh, he's building Infestors. Infestors might end the game. I can't believe it. Yeah, he's got so many... he's got so many drones not doing anything at all, because where else are they meant to go? They've got nothing to do. They've got nowhere to really mine from. There's not enough bases on the map. 30,000 resource loss difference. 101,000 resources lost from Elazer. I can't believe he's actually built Infestors. It's almost like he's ruined the game we had going on here. Ling's going to run into a group of bio units and just going to be seeing the long distancing setting up on the top as this orbital gets landed. The main, it's either the main or this orbital. One of these orbitals has moved across at this point in time. It's just pulling back down the bottom. Marines coming through. The 8 meters all on the way up. Couple of Widow Mines popping out as well. Eight new mutalists. Why are there 8 new mutas on the way, guys? Why? 136 currently dead in the game. Clem might actually kill this bottom right hatch. It's getting close to going down. Oh, the Infestors flank in! The Fungals all over the army! Now we see these Marines trying to sim in, but there's more fungals available. Clem wasn't ready for that at all. Clem also has AFK SCVs. There's just nowhere to mine from. We are more or less mined out. You see how close this has turned out to be, guys? Because basically what's happening is that this base is the only one left, and it's been resource lost has been good enough for Clem that mining an entire base more than Clem. And this isn't just an entire base more, it's like a 2-base difference, right? Because not only does Clem not get this base, but Elazer then gets it. So it's like a 2-base swing. Clem has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases, while Elazer's had 9. Even then, it's so close. So this is it. Elazer has no more mining. Guys, it's kind of possible. I have no idea what just happened there on the map as we scan, and SCVs are going to lead the charge into killing off these drones. Of course we are. SCVs killing burrow drones. Oh! Meters. Oh, well. SCVs. That's all the SCVs on the top side down. Alright, no more mining, guys. It's down to the standing armies. Clem just doesn't quite have enough. As Elazer's out of money. If Clem had broken this base like a minute sooner, maybe, he might have had it. He might have actually had it if those Infestor fungals hadn't been so good. I actually think if Elazer had not built Infestors, he would have lost. 137 dead meters. A Widow Mine goes down. Gonna see more bio coming down the bottom. As Clem will actually have a base to land here, so he'll have a bit more money. And Elazer's doing the right thing of just shutting down all the production, though, right? If he shuts down this production, that's something Clem can't afford to rebuild, and obviously he needs it to make use of taking that bottom right base. That's why Clem is trying to evacuate it. So he will protect them there as the Mutas getting chased out. 141 dead Mutas, 1,200 deadlings. Did we mention 117 dead Widow Mines? I'm actually impressed. For every Widow Mine that's died, there's been about 3 Marines that died. I think that the other way around is impressive, right? Every time you've seen 3 Marines die, 1 Widow Mine has died along with it. Isn't that a ridiculous stat? That's insane. Well, Clem will mine the bottom right, but he had to fight to get here. The thing is, on the bottom right, he can sit in a defensive position with Widow Mines pre-split and his army pre-split, and maybe he can do okay. Obviously, the Mutas are a threat, and the Mutas are the one thing that could pick away at pre-split units, because if not enough is collected together all at once, the Mutas will just kill and then move on. Planetary Fortress is going to get targeted too. That's actually a big deal. Planetary Fortress could have helped Clem a lot in the defense, so and if Clem loses that, I mean, keeping it alive actually gives him a little bit more of an option. He's coming down, mid is taking damage. Just going to see these fueling. He's going to continue through the main base. Faster's going to find a nice fungal growth. Marines, there's so many medevacs, but they're just not near enough, and Elazer continues to edge ahead. Are we going to get to 40 minutes here, guys? Are we going to end just before 40 minutes? Oh, it's close. The Marines are going to stand here. The Lings continue through. The drones are being pulled through the speed zone. It's a drone attack. As Banelings blow up SCVs, drones go crazy. Clem types out GG. We will not get to 40 minutes. 145 dead Mutalisks. 12 dead Lings. 46 dead medevacs. GG's, well played, and wow. I mean, let that unit's loss screen just do the talking. What a ridiculous... I mean, just Elazer choosing to not take out a Lingbane Muta gave us a ridiculous game.